Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode with your girl, Audrey Codner from ACG Math Tutoring. Yes, you need a math tutor? I'm the person that you need to see. If it's not for me, I can always pass you over to someone that is just as good and he gives you all the needs that you want. All right. I feel like a midnight DJ right now. Okay. So hopefully everyone is doing well tonight or tomorrow, wherever you are. But what we're going to be working on tonight is solving radical equations. So this afternoon we were working on rational equations. Now we're going to go back to radicals. So back to those square roots, those fourth roots, those fifth roots, those cube roots. Okay, so there is other roots other than square. So as you come on in, let's see if we can break it on down. Go ahead and tap. Hey, is it Edie or Eddie? Are they radical because they know how to party? And you know it, man. That's why they're so radical. Yeah, we don't have any kind of sane people around here. Let's do it. So, hopefully you guys are doing pretty well. Welcome in. Hello, hello, hello. So we are going to be breaking down. One of the things that I definitely want to mention before we get started is when you're solving your radical equations, just like any equation, you always want to find the inverse. So think about it. The inverse of addition is subtraction. The inverse of multiplication is division. The inverse of a square is not a circle. It is a square root. Okay, so squares and square roots, they cancel each other out, which will give you your x. Same thing with the cubes and the cube roots. Same thing with the fourths and the fourth roots, tens and the tenth root. No matter whatever the exponent is, you can actually change. This is called the index. You can change the index to make this root into whatever radical you want, except for 1. There's no such thing as a 1 root. The lowest you can go is 2. Okay? So don't get crazy. So we're going to learn how to solve these and looking at the inverses. All right, so we're almost at our 1,000, so I can get myself started, and then we can just get it going. Almost there, almost there. Mad tap, mad tap. There's 104 of us here, so go ahead and just tap it on out. There we go. I knew you can do it, darlings. All right, so going to keep it light and simple on the very first one. So we have the square root of x minus 8 equals 0. Okay, I said we're going to keep it nice and light in the beginning, and then we're going to add the insanity towards the end. Yay! All right, so just like any other solving of equations, we want to get our x by itself. We want to isolate that variable. So the first thing I want to do is let's get rid of this minus 8. Doing the inverse of minus, that's our plus, and whatever I do on one side of the equation, I do on the other. So those 8s will cancel out, giving me a 0, but I don't need the placeholder because I still have this square root of x. So the square root of x is coming on down, and it's going to equal 8. So now I want to break x free from its radical. Okay, in order for me to do that, I need to do the inverse of a square root. If I don't see a number right here for the index, that means I'm dealing with the square root. So what I have to do is square it. Okay, the inverse of a square root is a square. The inverse of a square is a square root. And whatever you do on one side, you must do on the other. So now we can honestly say that this square and this radical are going to cancel each other out, leaving me with x. And now we have x equals 8 squared. 8 squared is not 16. This is not 8 times 2. This is telling me I have this base of 8, and I'm going to multiply it to itself twice. So that's 8 times 8, which gives me 64. There we go. Yeah. Steven, come on. At least try, Steven. At least try. So 7. No, Steven. No. Nice try. Jeez. All right. So we're going to go through it nice and slow. If you have questions, please put it in chat, if anything. And we're going to actually take it one step further. So I'm going to try to do 2 and then see how we're doing. So we have the square root of 3x plus 6 is equal to 0. I know. Hey, John, how are you? All right. Is there a trick to doing 8 times 8 fast? Yes. Know your multiplication table. 8 times 8. 8 squared. There we go. All right. So you're saying it's a -2? Oh, everyone's at full blast today. All right. So let's work this out. So first off, we have that plus 6. So we want to do the inverse, which is -6 on both sides. So the 6's, they're going to cancel out. Normally it will give me a 0, but we don't need that placeholder. So now let's bring down my 3x equals, and we have 0 minus 6, which gives me a -6. So now we want to get rid of this square root. Only way for us to do that is to do the inverse of a square root, which is a square. So the square and the square root, they're going to cancel each other out and leaving me behind with 3x. So now you're going to have to plug in and figure out what -6 squared is. If you put this in your calculator, make sure you put parentheses around the -6. Because if not, the calculator is just going to square the 6 and then tack on the negative. But when you embrace it, enclose it, keep it nice and warm and safe, that -6 is going to be -6 times -6. Excuse me. And negative times a negative is a positive, and 6 times 6 is 36. All right, so it's not -36, positive 36. All right, so now we're going to divide both sides by 3, which gives me x is equal to 12. But see, here's the thing. Although I wanted to do 2 problems at the time, but when we're done, we always have to check it to see if it makes sense. Remember, they always have this thing called an extraneous solution. Okay, you'll get an answer, but when you plug it back in, does it make sense? So if we go back to the first one, we have our 64. If I plug that 64 back in, I'm going to have, so this is what me checking it. So if I have the square root of 64 minus 8 equals 0. Square root of 64, that gives me 8. 8 minus 8, that does give me 0. So that checks out. Beautiful thing. So now let's take a look over here. We have a 12. So now we're going to check it. So we have the square root of 3 times 12 plus 6 to see if that gives us 0. All right, so 3 times 12, that gives me the square root of 36 plus 6. Square root of 36 is 6, and 6 plus 6, oh no, that does not equal 0. Okay, so that does not equal 0. So right there, 12 cannot be our solution. It's an answer, but it's not our solution to this. This is what's called an extraneous solution. Okay. So let's take a look. Let's see where we're at. All right, lovely. 284. Welcome in, everyone. I thought square roots of numbers were non-negative. What do you mean? Like you can't have a negative underneath a square root. That's true. Doesn't work out when you plug it back in. Yep. Okay. Hey, Janice. How do you know to check order? So you always want to check your answers, no matter what. What grade is this? This is like basically Algebra 2. So I don't know when some people take Algebra 2. I know one student that takes Algebra 2 as a 9th grader. I actually have one kid that's taking Algebra 2 as an 8th grader. And then there was a couple of students that I know that had taken Algebra 2 as juniors and seniors. So let's just say it's Algebra 2 concept. It's not really allowing, but it gives us another series, which is those eyes. Okay, let's skip. Anyone else? All right. Oh, hello, Jess. Thank you so much. All right, awesome. Can you do some quadratic equations? I can. And that's why you need to hire me as a tutor. All right. So if you come with my tutoring service, that comes with it. And I will gladly break down any kind of quadratic equations. Not a problem. All right. So let's see. All right. So let's see if we can get it up. That's what she said. So let's get it up to let's see if we can get like 6. I mean, there's like 341, 344. Hey, King Mike, how are you? Haven't seen your name in a minute. All right. Go ahead, quick little mad tap. All right. Nice. Here we go. Almost there. Almost there. Really want to see if I can get more people, especially people that are... Before we know it, it's time for us to go back. I know, I'm not doing it to threaten you. I'm just trying to be honest with you. Before you know it. So might as well let's get ourselves together. And then also, if some of you guys have summer reading packets that you need to get completed before you go back, just get it over and done with. Okay, if you need help with it, go ahead and hire me. And we'll be able to get that bad boy done in roughly maybe 1. We can probably get it for 1, but majority usually get it for 2 sessions. Okay. Can I help with college algebra? Yes, I can. Yep, that's all I've been doing. A lot of you guys are having your midterm, not your midterms, your finals are right around the corner. So for those that don't know, let me flip it around like a human being. Okay, I'm doing a mock practice test. If you want to see where you're at, how you're figuring, if there's certain things that you want me to go through, you can just hire me for one-to-one sessions. And the best time to get me is now, because starting August, the 4th? Yep, August 4th, I have to go back to my fall prices. So right now I'm doing sessions at 47, and I normally do it at 87. So catch me now. All right, so if you do want the mock practice test, it's just $10 to enter. The next one's coming up this Wednesday at 7 p.m., okay? And it doesn't matter if you're a subscriber to my TikTok or not, but if you want the replays, subscribers do get discounts for the replays, the copies of the test, and the answer key. All right, so catch me now. Are you going to explain how it's an answer but not a solution? Yes, because when you plugged it back in, it doesn't work. We can't have 6 plus 6 doesn't equal 0. 6 plus 6, last time I checked, is 12. So you're getting an answer because you did the proper steps, but when you plug it back in, it doesn't satisfy the equation. Yeah. Yeah. To get mine started, there you go. All right, thank you for all the taps. I know, you're probably like, girl, we are past your thing. All right, so now, like I told you, there are different types of radicals. So now, I'm looking at a cube root. So, cube root of 2x plus 1. You're probably like, oh, good God, Audrey. I'm like, no, it's okay. It's okay. Minus 2 equals 3. So, when we are breaking this down, just like any other equation, do not let this index throw you off. You're still solving just like any other equation. You want to isolate this. So that means that minus 2, hey, we need to add that. Actually, let me use this color here real quick. So we need to add that 2 so we can slowly but surely isolate our variable. So now what's left is the cube root of 2x plus 1. And that's going to equal 3 plus 2, which gives us 5. So just like when we were breaking down the square root, we squared both sides, right? But now we're talking about the cube root. So now, in order to cancel that out, I have to cube both sides. Look at us doing advanced math. Look at that. Look at that. So this cube root and this cube, they cancel out. And what they leave behind? My 2x plus 1. So now we want 5 cubed. This means 5 times 5 times 5. This is not 5 times 3, which gives me 15. No, and they will definitely have that as one of your answers. So this is going to be 5 times 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 5. Yes, Terry. Yes, Kai. Thank you so much. That gives us 125. All right. So now we're able to continue on and solve this bad boy. So let's go ahead. Subtract the 1 on both sides. Negative 1 minus 1. So we got back to our 2x is equal to 124. And now we want to divide both sides by the 2 because we're trying to isolate that variable. So that means we have x is equal to 62. Okay, so we got an answer. All right, we got an answer. So now we need to do our check. So we're going to plug in our 62 for the x in the original. So we have the cube root of 2 times that 62 plus 1. That's all underneath that radical. Minus 2 equals 3. So we want to see if that left-hand side is actually going to give us an answer of 3. So just like we had, here's my 62. So here's my cube root again. So 2 times 62, that gives us our 124. 124 plus the 1, that gives us our cube root of 125. And we said the cube root, we're bringing down the minus 2. And we said the cube root of 125 is going to give me 5 minus 2. And last time I checked, 5 minus 2 does give me 3. So this checks out. So that answer is 62. That is my solution. All right. It's called extraneous when that happens. Okay, hold on. There's probably some more. Okay. Can you tutor for math? MTEL. What is MTEL, Nancy? Every state has like their own thing. If you can clarify that, I can answer your question for that. Do I do trig identities? To a certain extent, but not too much on this platform. Okay, can I go over completing the square? Not tonight. If anything, if you want to see how to do completing the square, all you have to do, shrink that, is to go here. Okay, type in either this or this. Okay, I have all of my recordings, except, well, yeah, even this morning I just finished putting that there, or this afternoon. I have all my recordings from like February 5th. So if you're looking, I definitely did completing the square a couple of times. So if you want to take a look there, you can take a look there. Okay? Yep. All right. There we go. Can you tutor for... Okay, I'm going to wait until she says what it is. Okay, I'll just plug them back in. Choose. So, substitute. Okay. Extraneous. Do I do statistics? I do, but I don't love it. I do not love it. For the state test in Massachusetts? I know. If it's mostly algebra, is it like the first one, like just so you have like the end of course? If it is, Nancy, I can tutor for that. Okay. Do I teach calculus? Calculus is not my thing, bro. Oh yeah, to be a teacher? Yeah, I feel like I've been very popular with that. We're dealing with all this praxis stuff. What grade level though? Okay, and you're taking your first class this fall? That's awesome. So proud of you. As we can talk, I have questions on your process. Okay, on my process of doing what? Middle school? Yes, I can definitely help you. So Nancy, just go ahead and message me. Just send me a message, and I'll either get back to you tonight or definitely tomorrow. Okay, if you want to tutor for calculus, watch Robert. Yep, exactly. There you go, beast. Now I don't have to do it anymore. There you go, beast. Okay. Oh, the recording of tutorials? Yep. Not a problem. All right. Yeah, I've been very popular with Praxis lately. It's been very fun. All right. How are we doing with the taps? Almost there with 12. We can do that. So I love the fact that we're able to do things. Yes. Thank you. All right. So we have the square root of 5x plus 3 equals the square root of x plus 11. Now, based off of what we've been talking about, if you could take a guess, what do you think you would have to do first besides pray and run and just say, you know, give a middle finger to the work in front of you? I've done that so many times as a student. Like, why am I doing this? All right. Hey, Robert, how are you? We were just talking about you. Okay, so Tara's thinking about multiplying by 2. Share both sides. Oh, wait, no, square both sides. All right. So square both sides, multiply by 2. Okay. Now, remember, in order to cancel things out, we have to think of their inverses. So we can't do anything underneath the square root or underneath the radical. Okay, the stuff underneath the radical is called the radicand. So in order for me to get rid of these square roots, I have to do the inverse. And the inverse of a square root is a square. And whatever I do on one side, I must do on the other side. There you go. Yep, beast was. Okay. All right. So if anything, it's like 2 is the inverse of 1/2. Okay. So I know you're changing the fraction to the exponent, but if you're saying 2, I'm thinking you're saying multiplied by 2. Okay, remember, got to make things clear. We're doing everything through text. Okay. Now, once we square out and get rid of the square root and the square, what's left over is our 5x plus 3 equals our x plus 11. So now, just like we're going to do with any other equation, we are trying to isolate our variables. But right now, we got a variable on both sides of the equal sign. So we need to decide which side you want to put it on. I know traditionally, a lot of teachers are like, yeah, put it on the left side. But sometimes it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't. So right now, if you want to deal with a positive number for your x, you could subtract your x on both sides. And remember, that is a 1x. So you have an x minus x. That cancels out to give you 0. But we don't need the 0 as a placeholder because we still have this 11 over here. So bring down your 11. Bring down your plus 3. 5x minus 1x. That gives me 4x. And you're like, wait, where's the 1 coming from? Anytime you don't see a number in front of the x, it's assumed that it is a 1. Okay? Now, let's really isolate this x. So what we're going to do is subtract 3. Cancel out the 3's. So it gives you your 4x is equal to your 8. We can use that pen. And if 4x is equal to 8, that means x is equal to 2. Because if I divide both sides by 4, 8 divided by 4 will give me 2. Okay, there you go. Algebra. All right. Yeah, not a problem. All right. So now, just like we did before, you can get an answer, but we need to see if it's our true answer or is extraneous. So let me unzoom just a tad so I can slide on over. So we're going to put our answer of 2 back into the original equation for the x's. So we are going to check. And I know sometimes checking is a pain in the butt, but hey, this is what you gotta do. You gotta make sure things are gonna work. You know, just like Christmas lights. You gotta make sure those bad boys work before you put them all up and all of a sudden you plug it in and it's like womp womp. Okay? It's a lot of work. So plug in there too. And can you believe I'm sitting here talking about Christmas lights? Oh, yeah. Oh my God. Things are going so fast. All right. So now we plugged in the 2 for the x's. So 5 times 2, that gives me 10. And then we have 10 plus 3. That gives me the square root of 13. So now let's take a look at the other one. So we have 2 plus 11. That gives me the square root of 13. And 13 and 13, that matches up. So that means that answer of 2 is our solution, is our answer to make this equation true. Okay. Oh, I'm definitely not Christmas. Okay. You can't understand these? Well, you just got here. What are you supposed to, like, just come out the wounds like, yes, I'm a genius? Like, no. You're going to have to sit, relax. Let's take a load off. All right. It's all right, you know? It's like, give you guys some grace. All right. If you follow the surgery, you won't. Okay? Aw, you hate math. I know. I don't think, and I swear, it's not because you hate math. You hate the experience that you had that someone made you feel dumb. And you're not. You're not. If you had someone that broke those concepts down and you're able to, and you're able to just ask questions for clarity without any judgment, you'll be fine. I swear to you. And it's never too late. You're never too old. It's never too late to jump back on. Okay? So, stick around. Hang tight. We're going to be looking at some advanced math soon, and I bet you'll do very well in it. I bet you to rock. I'll bet you. All right? Yep. Math becomes interesting when you know how to do it. Yeah. It's a puzzle, man. It really is. Okay? Oh, well, thanks, Rock. I appreciate it. Just stick around. Let's see what we got. All right. Well, that's just me. Life's too short, man. It's too short. And I'm like, I don't think I ever want to leave this world without knowing how to do certain things. My next quest is how to do an oil change. And I know it's probably really simple, but I really want to learn how to do that. So, my dad taught me, but he taught me on the GMC Jimmy, so I know how to do that. But my lovely Explorer, I need a little assistance, because I feel like the prices for oil changes is getting ridiculous, and I think it's because I got ovaries. That's why they're taking advantage of me. But they're cute ovaries. Why do you need to take advantage of me? Craziness. All right. So, here's the next one. And I know you're going to be like, oh my God, Audrey, what is that? I've never seen that ever in my life. But guess what? We're going to solve it similar. So if I had, let me see if I have some paper from earlier. Yeah, I got some paper. So if I did this like, if it was more like, say, 3x plus 7 equals 0, and I wanted to solve it, okay? Let's ignore this for a second. If this was the equation, what would I do first if I wanted to solve it? Okay? So the goal is always to isolate your variable. That's always the goal when you're doing equations, right? So good. I love it. Subtract the 7. Get rid of the 7. Subtract the 7. Isolate the x. That's what we're doing. That's the goal. So Kaya, subtract the 7. Danny, subtract the 7. Carrie, subtract the 7. Cookie, hey Cookie, subtract the 7. Danielle, subtract the 7. Hello. Jess is saying subtract the 7. Oham saying subtract the 7. Okay. All on one side. Okay, isolate the x. That's what we're doing. Subtract the 7. Good. Spencer, subtract the 7. Hey, Nike. How are you? All right. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to subtract the 7, right? What makes you think we can't do the same thing for this? Instead of a 7, we're going to subtract this whole entire term. So that means if I subtract the fourth root of 2x minus 5, whatever I do on one side equal sign, I'm going to do on the other side equal sign. Right? So these two are going to cancel. One's positive, one's negative. So we go ahead and cancel. Bring down the fourth root of 3x. And it's going to equal our negative fourth root 2x minus 5. Okay? It looks crazy, but notice the philosophy is still the same. So, remember when we tried to cancel out radicals? So we said if it was a square root, like these, in order to cancel out the square roots, we had to square it. Here we go with the cubes. How do we get rid of the cube root? We cubed it. So just like Kai is saying over here, and Michael, let me see who else. I want to make sure I get credit when credit's due. All right. I want to cancel out the fourth roots. So the way I can do that is I raise it to the fourth power. And you're probably going to say, well, Audrey, what do I do with the negative out here? I'm like, okay, I can cancel out the fourth and the fourth root. And all right, I see where we can get 3x. All right, I got that. But how do I get rid of that negative? Or do I? Well, think about it, my love. When it's a negative number to the fourth power, that means that negative is being multiplied 4 times. What happens here? We got a negative times a negative. That gives me a positive. Same here. Negative times a negative. That gives me a positive. And now we got a positive times a positive. That gives me a positive. Okay? So by doing the fourth, raising it to the fourth power, we took care of not only the fourth root, but also the negative. I know, 2 birds, 1 stone. It's amazing. So then, down here, we're going to bring down 2x minus 5. Okay? So we went from a little complicated problem to something that seems familiar. So now, what do I do next? So if I really want to solve this, what do I do next? Go ahead, put it in the chat. There you go. Nice. Thank you so much for the love. Thank you. Thanks for joining the fan club. Okay, subtract the 2x from both sides, says Beast. Same thing with Danielle. Kai saying the same thing. Hey, Rosie. Okay, dividing by. We're not going to divide yet, Rosie. Not yet. Got to bring it all together first. Carrie saying subtract the 2x. Divide by 3. Not yet, Shell. But Danielle says that negative 2x. So that means we're subtracting the 2x. There you go. We want to group the like terms. We can say that. I think I know what you're talking about. But subtract 2x on both sides. That's JB. Hey, JB. Combine your x's. Yeah, I don't think the world wants that. Anyone that dated me and put them all in the same room, God bless America. All right, so here we go. They will have nothing but good things to say about me. Only to be a fly on the wall. Anyway, so we subtract the 2x on both sides. Now we got 3x minus 2x. That will give me an x. And now what's left over here is my negative 5. Right? I try, Spencer. Yeah, I do. I try. All right. So now we have that negative 5. Let's put it back in and check it. Okay, so we're going to do a little check. So we have our fourth root of 3 times negative 5 plus our fourth root of 2 times negative 5 minus 5. And we want to see if it equals 0. So I always put like a little question mark to see if it equals 0. So here we go. All right, so we have the fourth root of 3 times negative 5. That gives me negative 15. And then we have our plus the fourth root. Waiting for someone to say something. 2 times negative 5, that gives me a negative 10. And negative 10 minus 5, that also gives me a negative 15. And we're seeing if it equals 0. Okay. What's up, pussycat? Whoa, whoa, whoa. What's new, pussycat? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Tom Jones, people. Look him up. You have to separate the negative. Okay. What else? Even if I separate the negative. Yeah, I am. Not Tom Jones, I know. See, I embrace my age. See, I'm not one of those type like, oh yeah, I'm 52 and I really want to dress like a 16-year-old. Like, no. No, not at all. Right? Oh no, I am definitely old. Love it. So you got a 2, not a 0. Okay? So basically, up to the fourth power. Here we go. So basically, we're taking a look. 1, we can't have a negative underneath, especially if it's even. If it was an odd root, we'll be able to work it. Okay, we'll be able to work that. But an even root, no, definitely not. And then plus, even if we were just like, okay, it's not going to just be 2. I know you're counting the coefficients in front of these radicals, which is great. It's going to be 2, the fourth root of negative 15. No matter what, that does not equal 0. So that means that negative 5, that is an extraneous solution. Extraneous solution. By minute. Okay? So this is why, especially when you get to this. Now here's the thing, guys. I love when people are like, yes, imaginary numbers are difficult. But imaginary numbers do not deal with fourth roots. Remember, imaginary numbers just deal with squares, not fourth roots. Okay? So the I, if I may put different color. But I love, because we're thinking. I love it. Okay, remember, I is the square root of negative 1. Okay, that's what I is. All right. So, yes, we can that's what I was saying. Like, you can factor out a negative because it is a even, but that's not going to help us with those complex numbers. But we're thinking. I love it. All right. I really, really do. Love that. No dumb question. What we got? Happen to the negative sign in front of the square. Awesome. No, that's not a dumb question. Because this is what happened. Since we're raising everything, that means we're raising this negative as well as that fourth root to the fourth power. So if I was going to do my negative to the fourth power, that means I'm going to multiply that negative to itself 4 times. And if you think about it, you can group them. You have a negative times a negative. That'll give me a positive. Same thing happened over here. And then when I multiply the positive and the positive, I got an answer that was positive. So that fourth root took care of that negative. That's why we have that 2x minus 5. Okay? No, that was a dumb question. And I will admit, there are dumb questions out there. So I'm not going to be like, oh, there's no dumb questions. Just answer answers. No, there are some dumb questions. But that wasn't one of them. Awesome. Not a problem. Sure. Yes, I want you to feel safe enough here to ask questions to help with your clarification. Okay? All right. Asking me like where babies come from. Yeah. I will make up something terrible. Make you never want to have a kid, ever. All right, so let's take it up one more notch. Let's see if we can get to 30. Can we get to 30K? It's nice and easy. You heard one. Let's see if I make room for this one. Okay, just a little more tappity tap. There's over 231. Why? Is it because like you get tired of tapping, or you just feel like we're begging too much, or it's like, why are you just being so selfish with your love? Share your love. Open up. There we go. Thank you. It's like, I always felt that way. I'm like, why is it like people are just like, I just come just to listen. All right, you can come and listen, but tap once in a while. It's not like I can see who is exactly tapping for me. You know, if you like what you see, hey, that's the best thing you can do for me. Tap, send some gifts, I guess. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out the whole gifts thing, but here we are. Right? Why not? Why are you holding back? It's free. Like that, of all the things in this crazy life, all you have to do is tap. Okay, right? Hey, Amber. Okay, so let's take a look. We have the square root of x plus 2 equals x. All right, so we're starting off as like, you know, an Algebra 2 question, definitely an SAT type question. Now, we need to figure things out. Which of the x's do you think we need to isolate right here, right now? Okay, eventually we're going to put both x's together, but right now we want to focus on one of those x's to isolate. Which one? The square root of x or just the x? Okay, Jess is saying the square root of x. Okay, JB agrees with the square root of x. Okay, and if you're not sure, you can put a question mark in. Question marks are answers too, so that works as well. Okay, Carrie's saying the square root of x. Amber's saying the squared. Okay. All right. Thank you for your honesty, Miss. What is it? Fashizi? Oh, Miss Fashizi. All right. Michelle's saying just the x. Aura is saying just the x. Be happy. Thank you for your honesty. Not sure. Okay. So the easiest way, Mega's back. You're making me so popular. How are you? All right. Nope, not with the minus. Well, that's what you're going to do. We're going to minus 2. I would move the 2 to the other side and then square both sides. Yes, Sydney. All right, so we're going to subtract the 2 on both sides. All right. So we have a positive 2 and a negative 2. They cancel out. So now we have the square root of x is equal to x minus 2. So now here, we want to get rid of the radical. So what we're going to do, just like what Sydney says, we're going to square both sides. See, I like to give credit when credit's due. I'm not sitting here saying that, oh, I'm the expert. You need to listen to me because I know everything. You know nothing. That is not me. All right. So the square and the square root, they cancel out. And what they do is they left me with x equals. Now, wait a second. Now we have x minus 2 squared. We're squaring a binomial. So we need to factor this bad boy, right? Okay. All right, we need to, hey Ron, how are you? So nice to see you. So we need to factor this. So here's the quick way. We're going to square our first term. And I know a lot of you guys do this, and this is what makes it wrong. You square the first term perfectly fine, which gives you your x squared. But then you square the last term of the negative 2, and that gives you 4. And you think you're done. No. There's a middle step. The middle step is you're going to multiply these two together and multiply that answer by 2 because you need your middle term. So you square the first term, you multiply these two together, which gives me a negative 2x, times that by 2, so that gives me a negative 4x. Then you square the last term, which is the negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 2 gives me a positive 4. Okay. All right. There we go. Good. Could I explain again? Sure. So, if anything, we have our original. We want to isolate our square root of x. So we subtract the 2 on both sides. Then in order for me to get rid of the square root, I had to square it. So squares and square roots cancels out because they're inverses of each other, which gives me the x. But then here, we need to break down. So what you do is you square the first term. That's where the x squared comes from. Then you multiply the middles and multiply that by 2. So multiplying what we have here gives me a negative 2x, but then multiply that by 2. That's where the negative 4x came from. Then you want to square the last term, which is a negative 2. And negative 2 times negative 2 gives me a positive 4. Okay. All right. Yep. Just like foiling. Yep. I love how everyone's like, you can foil, you can foil, you can foil. Yes, you can foil. Right, exactly. Good, Sarah. There you go. Okay. All right. So now we need to make this equation equal to 0. Know why? Because my highest degree is to the second power. So that means I need to subtract this x over here. So now we have 0 equals my x squared minus 5x plus 4. So in order for us to find what our solutions are, we got to factor it. And what's awesome is our leading coefficient is 1. So I can go right ahead and split my x's. It always comes back to my x's, don't it? Just can't move on, can we? So now the hardest part. What two numbers multiplied together will give me a 4 and add together will give me a negative 5? That's the part. A lot of us gets it. So Kaya's saying negative 4 and negative 1. Rye's saying 2. Okay. Is that Nanners? Is saying negative 4 and negative 1. Okay. Never saying negative 1, negative 4. Robert's saying negative 1, negative 4. Dora Chen C is saying negative 4 and negative 1. All right. JB is giving my final. Amber saying negative 4, negative 1. There we go. So you have your negative 4 and negative 1. A negative times a negative gives me a positive, and a negative plus a negative keeps it negative, so you're adding them together. So now all we have to do is set those equal to 0 so we can find what our final answers are. So I'm going to take it over here and just give myself a little room. So we have x minus 4. That's going to be equal to 0. And then we have this x minus 1. That's going to be equal to 0. So if we add 4 on both sides, we have x is equal to a positive 4. And if we add 1 on both sides, x is going to equal to a positive 1. Okay. Steve. It's got to be 7. No. You're funny. So you're a type of person I can handle. So at least you try to put some kind of joke in with math relation. All right. Yes, that's exactly what I'm about to do, Ron. As soon as I stop falling out of this chair. All right. So now, going back. Not going to the chapel, but going back. Because we need to check. So if I go back, I got 2 things to check. So I'm going to check the 4 first. So I have the square root of 4 plus 2, and I want to know if it will give me my answer of 4. Because remember, we had to substitute the 4 in 2 spots. Square root of 4 gives me 2. 2 plus 2, it does give me my 4. Yay, that's 1. So that means that bad boy's working. But now, we're going to check the 1. I'll put it in red, just in case. So now we have the square root of 1 plus 2 is going to equal 1. Right away. Bad taste in the mouth, right? So square root of 1 is 1 plus 2. That gives me 3. That does not equal 1. Boo. Okay? So my true answer is going to be x equals 4. All right. But 1. Pretty image though. Oh, good. I'm glad you passed. Nice. Well, congratulations. All right. What's wrong? Who is crying? Why is there crying? Why? Is it because it's what, Monday night and you're seeing math? A little bit of advanced math? Are you crying? No crying. There's no crying. Good job. All right. Okay. So, let's see. Let's do one more. Let's do one more. And actually, I'm going to let you guys do it. And you're going to show me your answers. Okay, let's see if I can save some of my paper a little bit. All right, very close to 40. Very close to 40. Can we get to like 43 with the mad tap? Let's go. I'm a math dropout and I couldn't handle algebra. I gave it a shot again. Yeah, in the future. Definitely, Ron. Definitely. But see, here's my thing. Now you have more life experience. Now you can probably like, you know what? That doesn't make any sense. Let me see what I can do. And I bet you're going to ace it. I bet you cold hard cash. I don't know how much cash, but I know it's going to be cold and hard. That's what she said. So, all right, definitely go for it. You know, don't let these things hold you back. You never know. This might be something that will open the door to something amazing. You never know. You never know. It'll be the smallest thing like, oh, I wish I should have asked that guy out or asked that girl out. And it was something as small as actually, oh, I saw a quarter on the street. I should have picked that quarter up instead of just walking by it. That quarter could have gone into something which could have got me like a lottery ticket or whatever. I don't know. I don't understand the whole thing, but I'm telling you, these little things that holds us back, these little barriers, they add up. And then once you chip away at some of these barriers, man, the world is your oyster. Like the nice oysters, not the ones that you just kind of see along the street. All right. Okay. All right. Angel numbers. I see it. All right. So let me give you the last one for tonight. And then, of course, I'm going to talk about my little spiel. And I'm serious about people. If you are currently taking a college algebra class and you need some assistance, please reach out. You know, people are starting to get like, oh, I'll never pass this class. And I'm like, look, you know, you won't know until you try. Giving up is just not an option. This should never be an option. All right? Give this one a try. I'm kind of curious to see what you can do. Okay, that's good. And especially like asking questions. There's so much power in asking a question. And I feel like we learned at an early age that you shouldn't ask questions, just do what you're told. Well, maybe that's how we were raised. Kids were supposed to be seen, not heard. So this whole thing of kids advocating for themselves and talking for, please, we got smacked across the lips and we even thought the wrong thing. But again, it was a different time. But now, like, I'm starting to see a lot of students that are talking, like, advocating for themselves. And I'm like, do you know what you're even talking about? Like, at least take a thought. Like, just stop, think, then advocate. That's all. I just always feel like they skip that step sometimes. I know. I think a lot of students haven't experienced the joy of going to a library and looking through the catalog by hand, writing down the number, going in the bookshelf to try to find your book, and then of course someone took it out. But the thrill of seeking the book. You know, everybody wants it instantaneous. And now, hey, we already have microwave popcorn, and I actually saw a kid throwing a fit because it was taking too long. I'm like, dude, my job was to spin it. To shake the pan back and forth. Like, that was my job growing up when we wanted the popcorn. Please. That's probably why my muscles are so strong. Early training. Are you allowed to answer? You can answer. Thank you for asking. I appreciate that. Yes, you're allowed to answer. I just wanted to give some people some time. think it's 1/2. Okay. Okay. Okay, you're saying it's not equal? Okay, Cookie's not too sure. Okay. All right, let's see what else. Who else comes up with stuff? It's a little messy, but it's possible. Okay, Carrie's not too sure. Okay. Thank you for your honesty, though. I appreciate you guys with the question mark. Jess, same way. Oh, forgot we had to FOIL. You think it's like 3/16? Okay, JB, you're stuck. Not a problem. Engineer, I think the value of t is equal to 1/2. Okay. He did a classic freshman dream mistake. That's okay. You tried, Michael. Okay. Amber. All right. I got you with this one. Okay. Okay, so I got 1/2. Michael saying 3/16. Is it Beltha? Birth? Is that R or L? I got a glare on my computer. The same 1/2. Okay, you're saying that's your final answer? 3/16. Okay. Jess is saying I. No, it's not I. All right. Any more possible answers? Any more question marks? So is it Beltha? Oh, Beltha. Okay. So Priscilla saying 1/2. Okay. You keep your panties on, all right? We're going to let everyone get a chance to do it. I know you said please, though. And I appreciate you saying please. Okay. I will. Thank you. I just want to give people an opportunity to chime in. Okay, Ron saying 5/4. Saying 3/16. Big Al just got here. That's all right. All right. Okay, should we go for recess? No, shouldn't go for recess. All right, here we go. All right, first thing. Well, hold on. Gotta do this whole sliding thing. TikTok makes things so difficult. I just want to make sure that you're still there. I'm still here. All right. So the first thing I would do is get rid of this radical. So I'm going to square both sides. So when I do this, I'm going to have 3t plus 1 on one side. Now, like some of you guys were saying, we should be doing FOIL. Do FOIL, do FOIL. Okay, I'm going to pull FOIL over here. So that means we have 2 minus the square root of 3t times 2 minus the square root of 3t. Okay, reason why we're doing that is we have a binomial that's being squared. Okay, it's not, all of it's not underneath the radical, so they can't just disappear. So now when you do the distributive property, you have 2 times 2, which gives us 4, and then 2 times negative square root of 3t, that gives me negative 2 root 3t. Same thing is happening when you distribute the negative square root 3t. So we got negative 2 square root 3t. And then negative times a negative gives us a positive. And here's the shortcut. Square root of 3t times the square root of 3t. When you're multiplying the same root with the same radicand, it's just going to be that number underneath the radical, which is the 3t. Right here in the center, you got like terms. So that means you have your 4 minus 4 square root of 3t plus 3t. Okay. So this is what I'm going to put in place over here because we don't have any more like terms to combine. So I'm just going to put in my 4 minus 4 square root of 3t plus 3t. Okay. Okay. You can do that as well. All right. Now, let me slide this stuff over so we can focus on this. So now we have this radical right here. Let's do whatever we can to get that radical by itself on that side of the equal sign. So that means we're going to subtract the 4 on both sides, as well as subtract the 3t. And if you notice, 3t's cancel on both sides of the equal sign. So what we have left over here on the left-hand side is 1 minus 4, which gives us a negative 3. And then we bring down my negative 4 square root of 3t. And I know people are going to be tempted. Oh, okay. Well, couldn't I just divide both sides by 4? Yeah. You could. You could, actually. If I divide both sides by negative 4, I'm really isolating that radical. A negative divided by a negative, well, darling, that gives me a positive. Now, how do I get rid of a radical? Okay. We get rid of the radical by squaring. When I square over here, I square the 3, so that gives me 9. I square the 4, that gives me 16. And then what's left on the other side, the square and the square roots cancel out, giving me 3t. But then we need to divide by 3. Now, here's my thing. When you divide with a fraction, it looks crazy. It looks like a double-decker sandwich with not appetizing meats in between, okay? So instead of dividing by 3, we could multiply both sides by the reciprocal of 3. Remember, whole numbers, if I put it over 1, the reciprocal is going to be 1/3. So why not multiply both sides by 1/3? Okay. So now the 3's cancel out, the 1's cancel out, leaving me with t. But now I can cross simplify here. 3, that's going to turn into a 1, and 9, that's going to turn into a 3. because 9 divided by 3 gives me 3. And now I got my 1 and 16th. That's not going to do anything. So my final answer is 3/16. Okay, that was a lot. Hey, Banks. I see, hey. How have you been? Where have you been? I haven't seen you in a few weeks. Not a problem. I know, it's a lot. It's a lot. Let me claim my tuition fees back. Go ahead. So Tom ended with 3 apples instead of 16. Got it. I know. Only in math where you see people buy a hell of a lot of fruit. Like, dude, seriously? Calm down. You can only eat so many. All right. Good, Amber. Yes, nice. Now, do you want to have fun to check it, or you'll be all right? Better be opening a juice bar. Juice bar, right? Not back then. Johnny wants 50 watermelons. Where is he going? You're trying to get some chocolate chips and things for your trail mix. Or Johnny and Margaret wants to spend $60 on tacos. And all the tacos cost 49 cents. Where are she and he eating the tacos? Like, where are they going? Like, where? Where can I get 49-cent tacos? Right? Exactly. But only in math problems, you see these crazy amounts. My goodness. It's hilarious, right? Absolutely hilarious. The topic is this. Did school that day. Well, this is basically solving radical equations. Okay, so as you can see, we can use square roots, we can use cube roots, we can use fourth roots, fifth roots. And I know as soon as you get into Algebra 2, that's when you start hearing more of roots bigger than a cube root. Okay, more than cubes. But we're really good with squares. It's just those cubes sometimes that mess around with us. But when you start looking into Algebra 2, into pre-calculus, you're going to start seeing more and more of alternate roots. Okay? Radical left. Yeah. Oh, God, no. Taco Bell, no. No. All right. Doing my math right now. Oh, okay. Cool. Okay, working on multi-step equations. Awesome. Okay, make sure you take your steps. Okay. Give us one of your problems, if you can. I'm out of curiosity. So while Veronica is giving us one of her problems, no pressure, Veronica. None whatsoever. If anything, I am looking at my notebooks. Okay, if you've seen this notebook, hey, I created this. Yay. And plus with schools coming back into session, I know. And we just need to get ourselves organized with maps. So that's why I have like a formula section. Also, you can write down your steps, give you some room. It's just like the old end of Cornell notes. A lot of students nowadays do not know how to take down notes, especially in math. They just write down what they said. Oh, the teacher told me to write that down. Okay, what does it mean? They have no clue. Or they'll be like, okay, they write all their notes down, and maybe they're a kid that goes to work right after school. And then here they are, 10, 11 o'clock at night, trying to figure out what their notes are saying. They're frustrated, you're frustrated, and then it's just like everybody wants to drop out, right? So if not, let me help with your organization. So with this, I also have resources in the back of the book. So I have a factor sheet from 1 to 200. Okay, so it helps you break down those radicals, find your greatest common factor as well as your least common multiples. I also have some reminder notes, okay, the rules of integers, and then also order of operations from the US and also internationally. Exponents, what are those properties? Then we have our linear and our quadratics, even always with the discriminant at the bottom. Then we also have like properties of quadrilaterals, things that you need to know in order to solve those problems. It can help a little bit with geometry, especially with the properties of transformation, rigid transformation, as well as non-rigid. So we have our volume, surface area, we have arc length, area of a sector, area perimeter, as well as your unit circle, and Pythagorean's theorem, and SOHCAHTOA in some of the trig identities. And especially we have the law of sine and the law of cosine at the bottom. So I am currently working on adding some more resources to my notebooks. So I took out a couple of the pages of the, the fun activities in the back, because I don't know, a lot of people are generally dealing with that. But for the most part, trying to give more resources so I can help you out. So this is one of my math notebooks, and I'm working on developing a left-handed edition. Hey, I gotta love my lefties. I'm dedicating it to my father that has passed away about 9 years in August. So I'm going to tell you right here and now, because we're kind of friends now. August is the worst month for me. So, yeah. I think that's the best way that I can describe it. Now, if you like my notes, but you're like, I kind of like your notes better, I have what's called Audrey's notes. Now, Audrey's notes is just me basically making copies of all the notes that I've done since February the 2nd. Okay, right now we're currently on book 5, so this is book 3. And what happens is there's a QR code for each of the concepts. If you scan the QR code, it will take you directly to the live that's associated with these notes. So it's almost like you're having me as a tutor, and you can just pick and choose what you want. So it'll be great if you go to, YT, you know what I'm talking about, and look at some of the videos. But at the same time, having this, you can follow along. So it's almost like you can do it for mediation, you can do it for enrichment, and it's just randomly selected items. So we have parallel and perpendicular lines, okay, writing equation on line with you're just given 2 points, okay, reviewing writing equation on line, looking at a little bit of probability, okay, so you can see me and my neat little handwriting. So this is Audrey's notes. Explaining unit circle. No, I think I should do that. Okay. Yep. Oh yeah, and you did live on that. That'll work. Yep. All right. Not a problem today. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm so excited. So glad. Thank you. Appreciate you. And would you recommend this? Someone's taking a GED? Yes, Maria. Maria, I'm currently teaching a class, taking a course of people, helping them with their GEDs. Yes. So if anything, reach out to me. Send me a message, okay, so I can talk to you a little bit further about where exactly you are in your journey. I know Janice would speak highly of it. So if you need a course, or if you need more one-to-one, when are you planning on taking it, all that stuff. So if you can just reach out to me, Maria, that'll be awesome. I'll definitely get back to you, okay? Even if you just send a message through the request. All right, not a problem. Okay. So if you want, if anything, I'm trying to find my other paper. It was right here. Don't you love when things are right here and then they just poof, disappear? Just has its own little world. And then I'm going to find it as soon as the live ends again. Anyway, anywho, I'm seriously, I have no idea where it went. That's hilarious. Okay. Well, anyway, so one of the things that I wanted to say is I'm also doing a mock interview. So, not mock interviews, mock practices. So, if any of you guys are taking college algebra and you are, I really don't know where my paper went. I'm seriously like sitting here like, where did my paper go? Like, I just literally had it in the beginning. Anyhow, so if you need, like, if you just want to go over, like, just take a sample mock test, don't have to worry or stress or anything. Just message me because I did have my paper and I really do not know where that bad boy went. But if anything, just message me and I will give you all the details. The next one that's coming up is Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you ever want to just say, you know what, I want to see where I'm at. I want to see what I know. I want to see what I don't know. It's roughly 39 or 35 questions. You have 59 minutes to do it. So you're basically, everyone leave you alone. You're sitting there, you're working out the problems. And at the end, I go over the answers. And if you want the replay, if you want the copy of the test, or even the answer keys, it's just like additional fee for that. But it is $10 to sit in so you can break down the time. Okay? See some other messages. Okay, so how do you get your notebook? Yes, you can say what Jess said, because I can't say it. Or you can go here. You could go here, but I only get 50 cents a book. That's like highway robbery. So if you go here, you can go get your math notebooks. You can get the Audrey's notes, and any upcoming math notebooks will be there. Okay? And then don't forget, if you want to see these replays, give me a moment with this one. It might take till tomorrow. But if anything, go here, type in this or this, and then I want you to do, like, to subscribe, to comment, to like, to share, and also sign up for the notifications so you can get, like, the latest and greatest that goes through there. All right? So you'll have everything situated. Oh, wait, I think I found it. Yay, I found it. I swear I'm organized. I swear I am. It's just the last few months has just been like craziness. All right. So again, this is for the mock practice test. So the next one is this Wednesday at 7 p.m. Then I have one on Saturday at 10 a.m. to 12. Yeah, we don't stay the whole time. I just block off that much time. Okay. So you want to give the 59 minutes. So basically a minute and a half for each problem. And then on Sunday at 7 p.m. So all you have to do is just go here, okay, for more information. Okay, and if you want like private tutoring, if you want to do any kind of self-paced courses for GED, ASVAB, ACCUPLACER, TEAS, Foundation Algebra, and soon enough, Praxis from around the world, right? So definitely, this is how much for my course. This is how much for the course plus 2 30-minute tutoring sessions. And then, like I told you once before, if you go to Books by Audrey Codner, that's where you can go get math books, Audrey's notes, and also any kind of upcoming workbooks and so forth. All right. All right. Yep, Michael did it yesterday. Yes, that's so true. It will help you. Not a problem, Amber. Have a good night if you're still here. All right. Okay. So, it's past my bedtime. Yeah, I'm giving myself a bedtime tonight. Because tomorrow, I'm going to be tutoring like a mad woman. From 10 o'clock until our live is over tomorrow. I'm going to be tutoring with maybe 3 hours break combined. It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna be so loopy, and those that know me, when I'm loopy, I'm entertaining. I am truly entertaining. So hey, no young kids on that live. So I will be here tomorrow evening at 9:30. I'm not going to go live at 1 o'clock because I actually have a client. But I will be here again 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. We're probably going to, I don't know. I was thinking about doing a little more like sine and cosines. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. So we'll see what happens. I was like, oh, don't cry. It's going to be okay. Yeah. All right. But if it's something that I'm like maybe system of equations, because I know a lot of people are going to try to do some work with that as well. So I haven't really decided. So we'll see what happens. Okay. All right. You love a little trig? All right. We'll see if we can get a little bit of trigonometry. And then you guys will be so surprised on how much you guys actually know. You know a lot. Please do not let society, friends, family bring you down. Okay? You definitely can achieve things. You just have to believe in yourself. Okay? Hopefully you're able to come here and get the extra oomph that you need so you can achieve your greatness. Because, baby, we need your greatness. This world needs you. We need your expertise. We need your creativity. We need your drive. We need your light. So if you keep that light to yourself, stop being selfish. You selfish person, you know? Okay, share that light for the rest of the world because you never know. That light might be something that saves somebody. You never know. Okay? All right. So have a great night. Thank you so much for the 60K. I appreciate it. Also, all the people that are new to following me, which is amazing. And please don't forget, if you need a tutor or if you're getting yourself ready for a final exam and you just want to kind of do a quick refresher, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. All right. Okay. Have a great night. Take care, everyone. Love you.